Now that you have set up a program with your school, it's time to start thinking about the lessons. As you hopefully read in the manuals, each school is very different. Some teachers would prefer to teach the lessons on their own and just have Extension come in and do the simulations. Others allow Extension educators or professionals to come in and teach the lessons ahead of time. You'll need to come up with a plan that works best for your school. Whether it will be you or a teacher going through the lessons, you'll still need to do some preparation ahead of time. As you read through Lesson 1, you'll see at the end, students are assigned an occupation that they will use for the simulation portion of the program. Discuss with your teacher on how you would like to assign occupations. You may choose to assign occupations based on the student's real-life interest. You might choose to base the occupation based on the amount of education that they are going to need and what they truly think they want to do in life, or you can randomly assign the occupation. It's really up to you and what works best for your school. If you do not have a lot of time to teach the lessons, as part of the new curriculum update, we've actually included pre-filled student worksheets, and there's also a mail merge version of the student worksheets if you would like to randomly assign your youth and save some time. The student worksheet and the pre-filled worksheets and the mail merge can all be found in the curriculum in OneDrive. If your school has the technology, you can also choose to use the Qualtrics version of the student worksheet, which has a lot of the information pre-filled for them and also helps take out the math portion of the student worksheet, which might help if you don't have a lot of time to do your lesson. If you do not choose to use a pre-filled form of the worksheet, you'll also need to be prepared to have youth pick out or a randomly assigned number of children. That comes in Lesson 2. In Lesson 2, you'll also find all of the deductions that youth will need to calculate if not using the pre-filled worksheet. If you do choose to use the pre-filled worksheet, you'll want to make sure you still at least describe the deductions and why they are important. Lesson 3 is all about financial decisions and institutions. So how banks are different using credit cards versus debit cards, online banking, and how interest affects your accounts. So in Lesson 3, they will also be determining if they have a spouse, and if so, the money they get from their spouse for the month, and they will also determine how much they want to put in their savings monthly. Lesson 4 is the last pre-simulation lesson. It basically just goes through what your wants versus needs are, and then using those needs instead of your wants to make your decisions as you go through the simulation. It also explains each booth simulation portion and what decisions they'll have to be making there. If you don't have a lot of time in the classroom, this is a lesson that you can easily shorten. In the next video, we'll talk about preparing for the simulation and how to get volunteers.